Now back for part 2 at the rant your email time. We talk about different things in racing, different things in the world, blah blah blah. Part of the week I enjoy the most usually because I enjoy the emails. So try to keep writing to us. We try to read most of them, and bloody hell gives me something to do. I love them.
Well, yeah, I was Bristow. Nathan was, I think it was Nathan, was keen to point out this thing to show you, Glenn, and it's a tweet by Nick Quinn, who's a tab man. And
he's not a bad fella, Nick Quinn, I think. He
wrote, an excited crowd at the premiere of Craig Williams' documentary. Do you know about this?
Oh, fuck me dead. He hasn't made a documentary about him, has he?
Someone has made a documentary about Craig Williams.
Why? I mean, TV in this country is so bad as it is.
Because they're wondering who this is trapped in the body of a boy.
No, I'm just saying, like, where's the crowd?
Where is the crowd?
We're talking about where's the crowd. I've got to mention Ty England here. Friday night racing, they've got this new thing. Come and get your jockey card signed by a jockey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and make it next 6 or 8 weeks. You're going to do something different.
What do you mean? I'll get your racebook signed, or what
no, like I think they said jockey cards. Or
so they might, yeah. So they're like trying to do it like rugby league
cards.
Oh,
okay. So here's a photo of Ty, and he's going to autograph it for you.
Yeah, which is very nice. I'm not bagging Ty. He's giving away his time for free. But let's just put it this way: I watched him. He ain't suffering writer's cramp.
Right.
Because they were right behind where I stand. I think 3 people turned up. That's fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, I know. You should have gone. You should have gone.
I was going to write down,
it out too.
Thank you, Ty, for completely fucking my life. Could you sign this? Yes. More evidence for our court case.
Yes. Can I just say that one day you will thank him. But aside from that, how many people know about this?
Well, I don't think it was advertised. They were talking about it. Old mate upstairs. Oh, don't forget to get. And then there was. I think it was it Brett? No, it was James. The gossip bloke, James Hedo, walking Ty out to this like big tented area, and there was Ty sit down, and they had like a couple of those racing thing next to things. The kids were playing that, and people were just looking over.
So they brought them out from inside the stand to outside.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's very nice of the jockeys to give their time, but it's a bit embarrassing when you've signed 3 signatures or something.
Yeah, well, they just haven't promoted it properly, have they?
I don't think they have either.
All the kids in primary school, they're all going to be swapping the jockey cards.
They fucking will not be swapping jockey cards.
I tell you what, a mate of mine published a book and was doing a book signing, and it was actually just lucky. The missus and I wandered by and we saw him there, and we just sort of like went and got a coffee and we just watched him. We've been there for 10 minutes and nobody's come up and said anything to him. And the missus felt that bad for him. She went and bought this book and went over to him and said, "Can you sign it?"
It's embarrassing. Dopey Dallas got us. You weren't there. Bloody Dallas got us to open a McDonald's one day because
I heard this.
McDonald's.
They opened a McDonald's.
People were going, "Who the fuck are you?" It's funny you say that because I really am nobody. It's just like,
how did you get the gig? Like, what was going on?
His mate, one of Dallas's mate, I think bought the
franchise,
to the Macca's, loved the Punter show, and said, it's across the road from Rose Hill.
Okay.
They're racing at Rose Hill that day. We're going to open our new McDonald's. Will you come early because you can see people from the races?
Yeah.
Well, you fucking.
So what did you do? You actually.
I handed out free Big Mac tickets to people who go, "Who the fuck are you?" And you go, "Oh, this is me, the old Glennsta," and they're just going, "Fuck off! I'm here with my kids, and I've got to eat a burger." But I was giving them away for free. But it was pretty embarrassing.
So what was
and then Dallas go, "How good's this going?" I'm going.
Oh man, he's Mr. Positive.
It was the second most embarrassing thing I've ever done with the Punter show.
I don't know how I could last.
It was the most embarrassing thing is the girl that wanted the photo of me and her husband.
Yeah.
I told her that, of course.
Yeah.
And I got to tell her again, it's the best of all time. Like, he's the older bloke, got the Asian girlfriend. We get a photo with you? I get a photo with you? Yeah, no worries, love, I'll have a photo. She goes, no, you take a photo of me and my husband. And I'm going, oh, fuck.
Did you have to wear like a little McDonald's hat or anything?
I didn't wear a little,
I want photos. I want photos.
But it was one of Dal's ideas. And God bless him, I do miss some of the funny things we did do. There's part of me wishes he'd like stuck with us and not gone so mad. But because he did do some really.
Oh, it's innovative. It's not. Well,
he's an innovative thinker.
Innovative, yeah.
Yeah, in whatever. He thinks outside the cube. He's a good guy. Fucking opened a fucking McDonald's. How many people out there have opened a McDonald's in their life? Not many. Especially when you're nobody. And you know what I got?
Did you have a burger?
I got a thick shake.
Oh, you only had a thick choke, that's it.
All right.
David Diamond has found on Facebook the Queen of the Turf Winx signed silks. And he said, reminds me of the Channel 9 with the cricket memorabilia. So you can shop now and buy an autographed bloody Winx jacket with 3 Cox Plate medals or something, official memorabilia.
Signed by what, all of them? Huey, Waller?
Vomit, vomit, vomit.
Well, she changes people's lives, Winx does.
I just wanted to run in a Melbourne Cup, please. We saw So You Think run in a Melbourne Cup. Why can't we have Winx?
I'll never run in a Melbourne Cup.
No, it's under Mr. Undertaker. Hi, Mark, Gordo, Glenn. Firstly, nice to meet you at the Betfair conference a few weeks ago. This is Mad Dan. Remember Dan from the Riverina?
I wasn't there, was I?
Oh, yeah.
Was I there?
Yeah. He came to the races the next day, on the Saturday. A few months ago, I received the dreaded email from Bet365 stating my business was no longer needed. My mate had a Bet365 account that had been active for about 12 months and was used for sports multis and occasional horse racing bets, not a winning account in brackets. From Thursday, I saw a few greyhounds I thought were over the odds, asked him to place a few bets for me. He was matching my bet, so the average stake would have been 200. We were lucky enough to back a few winners, build a bank of 2,000 odd. Friday night came along, we happened to back Hey Doc at $26, and we also got $51 about a horse that was racing the second at Yarra Valley on Saturday. After scratchings, we were left with $42. The horse happened to win, and although we only had $10 on it, we were pretty pumped. Saturday rolled on, I noticed a dog in Cannington that I thought was over the odds. $3 was available with 365, went around at $1.70 and won. We had 300 on. Over the past 3 days, we'd managed to win around 5,000. Sunday morning, we received the dreaded email stating our business was no longer wanted. I was just wondering if you guys know the limits before they cut you off, or any ways you can work around the business model they currently employ. Thanks, Dan. So, Gord, I guess that's a question for you because his own account's stuffed and his bowler account's stuffed.
Now he's stuffed his mates again.
Well, he's got to get some more mates. That's the
right.
easiest way to do it.
So that's poor mate.
And make sure they bet through their IP address. Don't use a variable IP. And another thing too is like dog racing, you're just going to get found out straight away. If you're betting into those low percentage or small pools and doing things like taking $3 about a dog that jumps at $1.70,
even if it gets beat, you'll get barred.
You're gone. Yeah. You can't do that. As far as other ways are concerned, if you are going to set up an account in somebody else's name, as I say, do the IP thing, get them to put the bets on, but also get them to bet into the account for about however long you can last, so that it actually has some bet history.
Why can't the corporates work on the fact that they just want to make a book and don't worry about who wins?
Yeah. So imagine you open a Bet365 account. Let's say you put in 5,000 or something, and you have 5,000 on something on Friday at like $7, and I mean if you can get it even with a new account sometimes, and then it runs around at $5 the next day. That account's going to be gone. Yeah. Pretty bloody quickly. You've got to disguise things.
Glenn, you're asking the question, why can't they make a book? Well, firstly, they're corporations, right? So they're not sole traders that are happy to make 5% on turnover. They're corporations that have to make shitloads of profit for their shareholders, and they're also increasingly, they have to pay GST, they have to pay turnover taxes and race fields legislation. They're looking at getting rid of the unprofitable clients. Because...
But then eventually, isn't there no one left?
Well, they obviously don't see it that way, just like Racing New South Wales don't see the fact that if there's no betting, there's no money, because they can't see that there's no betting.
But I remember Eric Conlon always said, and he had a range of clients, and he bet he bet all of us, and some blokes would win every week. You'd collect every week off Eric, and I'm tipping there's other blokes that would pay every week, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Eric used to say to me, you'd say, oh, hi Eric, you've got to get my settling. He goes, oh, you won again this week, Glenn? Oh, yeah, mate, yeah. He goes, that's 15 weeks in a row. Oh, sorry, Eric. He said, oh, I don't mind, son. I don't care how you go, as long as I win.
Yeah.
I don't care if you win, as long as I win.
All right, so once upon a time, and I said this in my podcast, once upon a time, we had...
It's like a fairy story already, once upon a time.
It is once upon a time. You had all this recreational money at the racecourse, and so the bookies took the recreational money and shared it between themselves and the pro punters. So Eric's taking his money, you're getting your money, you're helping him set his market, whatever. You're sharing the proceeds of the recreational money. Now all that recreational money lives in corporate land and TAB land.
And they don't want to share it.
And they don't want to share it, that's right. They don't want to share it.
Okay.
It makes it easy for them because they don't have to think. Yeah. They've just got to cultivate the right clients.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, they're all about account management
and marketing. Market, get the mug.
Well, there's something that just is icky about.
Imagine having a business with, let's say, 100,000 people betting into it, and none of them take money out. Doesn't matter if they win or not. They leave it and just bet bigger the next day or something like that, or bet on some sort of sport or something like that. So you can have all these clients depositing money and they never take it out. That's a pretty good business.
It's a bit of money. There's a bit of money somewhere. You've got some money in the bank to invest as well, haven't you?
Well, speaking of corporates, I just want to move on to this email from Nathan, which I actually did follow up for you, Nathan. And he said, lads, wondering if I can get your opinion on whether or not it's worth chasing up the validity of this bet. Sportsbet put up a market during the week under the bring your own Cox, as in bring your own, like nominate your own market, and listed Matt Hill to mention Kingston Town in his call at odds of $1.60. So basically you say to Sportsbet, what price about this thing happening?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Remember we backed zombies with alien zombies with Sportsbet?
Our bet's still standing with Sportsbet.
Well, we spoke
to Dallas about that bet. That bet's still pending. We've got $20.
The market's been taken down.
Oh, has it?
By the way, the thing that was so stupid about that, it was like zombies end of course of it. So you never have to pay.
That's right.
No, you never have
to. They restricted you bet on that.
They wouldn't bet us 100,000 under. They bet us 20,000 or 20 or something. That went to pending.
And you never have to pay.
Anyway, Sportsbet put up a market during the week under the bring your own Cox market. Matt Hill mentioned Kingston Town in his call at $1.60. He didn't, so obviously Nathan's taken this $1.60. He didn't mention anything during the run of the race. However, watching Sky 1, he did say the Queen joins the King after going through the place getters and some other comments about Winks giving us a fright and so on. It's actually on the replay.
Is it during the run of the race?
It's 35 seconds after they've gone past the post, but it's in the run on.
Doesn't count.
The question becomes, does the King constitute mentioning Kingston Town?
Yes, it does.
And does the timing of this mention constitute being in his call?
No.
No, yeah, I'm with Glenn.
From the time the gates opened to the time of the above comment, there was no crossing back to the studio, no crossing to Bernadette Cooper, whoever chases you after the race on horseback. Matt was entirely in control of the microphone. Naturally, I feel this constitutes his call, and naturally, I feel like I should win the bet. But if it wasn't mine, I would feel the same way, even taking out my current bias. They also put up a market, ponytail guy to load Winks into the barrier.
Oh, that guy, the blonde guy. Yeah.
Did you watch the Manikato? You watched the Manikato on Friday night. There was so much action behind the start. There's ponytail guy.
He's always there.
Obvious as dog's balls.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that when Matt said the King, he was referring to Kingston Town. Everyone knows who the ponytail guy is too. So my argument is you can't have it both ways. In theory, ponytail guy could be anyone, but we all know who it is, just like we all know the King is Kingston Town.
Yeah.
This would not have been heard on Channel 7, as they probably would have crossed to Bruce or Simon Marshall ASAP for them to carry on about the mare, but it happened on Sky 1's available for audio replays, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he called Sportsbet on Saturday night, and they said no, they wouldn't pay. But I contacted Sportsbet, and
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, did you really?
No.
Well, you contacted Bet365 for that bloke time. And I pointed out that these sorts of promotional markets are really promotions, not really
bets.
Not really opportunities to
make money.
They're not looking to make money. They're looking for publicity about these. And Sportsbet very correctly identified the fact that yes, they are promotional opportunities, and yes, they'll pay the guy.
Oh, good work,
That's all you've done well, Mark.
Yeah. So Nathan,
is that more money for the Christmas drinks?
Send us something. If you've won over a monkey, send 100 in so we can buy more drinks.
Nathan, hopefully you live close enough for us to hang with you at some stage, because your email has not gone in vain, and big hello to Sportsbet, who obviously very quickly went, yeah, we recognise that's...
Well done, Sportsbet, that's well done. If it was me, I wouldn't have paid you.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have paid the other monkey we got for Christmas drinks last week, the dog that
I wouldn't pay that either. No, I believe in a bet's a bet. And I don't think that was in his call if it's after the event. Once the last runner's been called and so Happy Clapper last, or whoever it wasn't Happy. Happy went pretty good actually. Whoever it was, that's the end of the call.
Yeah.
If he's coming down the straight, you know why he didn't get to say Kingston Town? He could have mentioned Kingston if she's trucking along 6 in front of the rider.
Yeah,
like
it was too close.
It was too close.
Yeah,
Here comes
exactly.
Humidor!
Yeah,
You know, that's why he hasn't got time to mention it.
The other thing
That's so
is
true.
that he had a stock of phrases that he'd already worked on, because on the point of the turn he goes,
She took off like a rocket? Or
no, yeah,
it's rocking like a rocket in here? Or?
no, the world is knocking and Winks is rocking, or something like that. There was,
They must write them down, and that Sydney
sure.
bloke writes them all down. He gets them up the pub he drinks out with the other blokes. Honestly.
Mark, have you thought about getting the Mounting Yard Mail guys to send out tips as a set like yours and use the pre-race WhatsApp to confirm or change tips? Glenn seems to have his horses picked on form prior to meeting and uses Mounting Yard to confirm or change a tip.
Which is true, I do.
This way we could analyse his tips a bit better than having the 5 minutes prior to every race. His MYM could be 5, looks great, moral 2. 5 looks great, moral. 2 looks terrible, need the run. Just a thought, as everyone is now copying you with Mounting Yard Mail, Mark Sheen, etc. So I thought it might pay to do it a little different. I find it hard to keep up with the 3 Mounting Yard Mails and following yours. If we know Glenn's tips prior to the meeting, and we do, because you come on a Friday show and give you your tips.
Yeah, but then sometimes they're not in my Mounting Yard Mark because they don't pray well.
And isn't
the
that obvious? That's like...
That's saying that the horse isn't
Like I've tipped Warranty, like really liked it and didn't really find it on Friday, you know?
Yeah.
And then I tipped the winner of the highway race on Friday, but didn't get it in my top 4 because I found 4 better from the yard.
Yeah.
My tips from the yard are always my genuine top 4 in a row. And all I can say, Mark, is obviously now with a smaller price, which is what we've provided and has been able to keep us liquid enough to keep this business going, it's hard to please a lot of people. And there's going to be people, so you're going to have to...
But I think Marcus can actually do that for himself, because he watches the Friday show, writes down your tips, and then when your Mounting Yard Mail comes through, he tipped this on Friday, now he's saying this.
And I would say my tips on a Friday to my Mounting Yard Mail are basically 75% different.
I really like your tips on a Friday. They're really solid.
Yeah. Anyway, look, Mark, I know what you're saying, and I know a lot of people are copying our stuff now and blah, 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 but all we can do is stick with our clientele, try and serve.
It's kind of a little bit difficult, because, you know, we were talking about this before, like sometimes a horse can look really good, but, you know, like, let's say, like Canterbury on Friday night, like, it was so map orientated what you had to do that you've sort of got to look after the clientele and sort of help them out a bit there as well.
I'm trying to tip horses at parade well, but I'm also, there's a lot of people that get this stuff, they go, well, here's what Glenn's tipping, I'm going to back these.
Yeah.
My most important job is to tip a fucking winner.
Yeah.
Or get you to back a winner. Now, I never thought on Friday I would say you got to have something on Fickle Folly, but when I saw a parade, I said you got to have. I said I'm backing 3 and 6 and something 8, whatever the numbers were, and 8 being Fickle Folly, because it paraded so damn well. But
Robert had the spurs on.
How you keep everybody happy all the time, I don't know.
No, you can't. You can't. And but they're allowed.
And we have time restrictions.
They're allowed to ask questions. So
definitely.
On the Mounting Yard, hey Mark, I have a few questions in regard to the Mounting Yard Mail. Dicko posted a video with Drew a few weeks ago explaining his translations, which were in descending order. Unloading, he would say, was 10 units. Big bet was 7.5 units. Good bet 5 units. Backing 2 units. Small bet slash something 1 unit. And peanuts, which Dicko uses, 1/4 of a unit. What do you think of that staking rationale, GP? Because you're obviously giving the content for the...
Well, he's obviously, I didn't know he was doing that. He's obviously trying to use his ideas to brand a different formation. To me, I try to make it...
But would you say unloading is twice a good bet?
I would say 3 times.
Okay, that's good.
And then sometimes you'll say a race of little edge, which, you know, it's an easy race for me to have off, or just have something on my top pick, or whatever you do. Some people just love to have a bet every race.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I've said before, I'm not betting this race. I get 10 emails this week. What do you mean you're not betting this race? I mean, you know, a lot of people go, oh, I can see what he's saying, I'm not betting either, or whatever. It's hard to keep everybody happy.
I do. It's impossible to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, I'd like to.
So I think the thing out there about all this information they're getting is you choose what works with what you do, because we've always said all our information isn't enough to make money. You've got to actually find a way to
got to
use it
implement
effectively or actually add more knowledge as far as doing your own form's concerned.
An email during the week.
Just use ours with yours and find whatever works for you.
I got an email during the week saying, Glenn, I win all the time off your tips. I'm winning, and I'm losing all the money in Melbourne, or I'm not handling Brisbane very well, or I just love your stuff and I'm going to cancel because I'm not winning at it. And I felt like, well, fuck's sake, you're paying $17 a week, just use my stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're going well with me, go well with me. And then if
you can even email me and get taken off the other lists as well.
There's a million ways around it. The only thing we can't do is, we can't give you $22 to use it. I mean, we can't do that. We're fucking
we can't give you a betting bank.
We should be able to. There should be free betting banks in this state.
Steve Crazy, he writes, regarding Miracle Mal Johnson's article in the Telly Thursday on Winx, he states Winx is as good as the King. For those who had the pleasure to see the King win in group races from 1200 to 3200, this is a big call from Miracle Mal. Winx does seem a certainty to win on Saturday. I would like to know how Miracle would rate in order other champions, Might and Power and Black Caviar, to Kingston Town and Winx after the big race this Saturday, and throw in Mackay Diva to atone for that ride from Mal for one of his rides in that race. I could add more champions like Sunline and others, but I'll leave that up to other mug punters. How about a phantom race over the mile at Randwick in the spring? So Superimpose has to be in the field, Johnny Tapp to call the race and result. Price Waterhouse as the stewards? Oh, Price Waterhouse as in the accounting firm. Robbie, Bill and Tom to set the odds. Mal to select the jockeys. Rake to be the judge and committee chairperson.
Who's Rake?
He's Richard Roxburgh. Okay. He's
oh, what a show that is. If you haven't watched that, it is the best show ever.
Rake.
It's awesome. Yeah. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's just
it's based on Charles Water Street, so it's Sydney legal.
Yeah.
But he's down and dirty, Rake. He's so down and dirty.
He's always going to brothels and loves the punt, and he's in debt to, crims and all this kind of, and he's a barrister. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's a great show. Also, what do you blokes reckon about the upheld protest on the photo for third in the second last race at Warwick Farm on Wednesday? Never heard of that one before. Maybe Connections should now look at all photos from now on.
Well, it wasn't a protest. It wasn't upheld. It was just a decision was made to chop it down the guts. And
it was because they couldn't see.
They couldn't see. And it
I
was
think
the correct
that's the right decision. Yeah.
It was correct. It's like a lot of protests these days should be declared dead heats. And the amount of bad taste to leaves your mouth is a lot less. And I think everyone was pretty happy with the double third, especially if you're on the other one, like the Connections would have been. There was a little funny, I never give myself a rap for being funny, but I was actually funny once here on Wednesday. The stewards had to go looking for Pat Farrell, and he was right over the other side of Warwick Farm, and these two of the younger stewards, they go running over him, and oh, there he is over there, and they just stopped, and Pat was about 300 yards away. I was right next to him, and I said, oh, here comes Paddy, and he was waddling over, and I said to both the stewards, I said, look, he can't go any quicker, that's his rating. He took fucking 5 minutes to get over to him. And even they had a giggle. It was actually the funniest thing I've said all year. Oh. That was his rating. He was running right up to his form.
I thought you were going to say something about Lee Dalton's maps there. That's where Lee had him mapping.
They stood there. They saw it. They knew he had to come over, but he was like a football field away. It was a fucking 5-minute walk.
I saw him for the first time on Wednesday, Pat Farrell, as he was taking the saddle out to alliterate. And I couldn't believe he was that young, because he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, and he was on Death's Story 18 months ago. They thought he was in hospital, didn't think he'd come out. I remember Greg Ryan was bawling on TV about it. Bawling, and now he's back. You get better.
Wow, life's amazing.
As my son says to me every single day, he said, Dad, the key to life is you get on the field and you pick out the biggest black C ... and you tackle him. It's a great comment.
Yeah, it is a great comment, isn't it? Yep. It's
a little bit of racism.
Take it on. Take it on.
He's the biggest. He's the big coconut. I'm going to hit him, and that's how you get through life.
Hi, Mark. Just had the funniest conversation.
That can actually that can have repercussions.
I'm sure it does. Like if you pull it off, it does wonders for your confidence and your motor.
You've got to go hard. You've got to go hard. If you're not going to go hard, I know I met some blokes at Jelko's joint once, and I had a business meeting with them over something. Blah blah blah. And I said, how's it going? He said, we run 100 miles an hour every day just to stand still. That's a true comment too.
That is definitely gambling.
Hi, Mark. Just had the funniest conversation with a guy who called me from Just Racing. He said, I bet you're excited about Winx going around the Cox Plate on Saturday. I responded, no. No, he said. Then he questioned whether I'd ever signed up for anything on the Just Racing website, which he said was about wagering, and then mentioned Winx again. I told him that I probably had signed up for something in the past and that I was interested in wagering but was not interested in winks. He seemed really shocked by this. I hadn't played my part in his script, that punters love winks and black caviar, etc.
I hate them both.
Punters don't love winks and black caviar. The general population love winks and black caviar. The conversation ended very soon after that, civilly, but I'd left him with nowhere to go. Seems he thought I was weird, but I'm involved in racing to make money. I couldn't give a fuck about horses like that. Yeah. Thanks, TQ.
And it's just racing.
Imagine
using this time of year, they've written a script out saying, "Oh, what's the major articles?"
And everything.
The call centre.
Imagine them ringing TQ about that. What do you think of winks?
She just
would have been there. She would have just said, "Fucking winks." Honestly, when I saw Humidor come at it for a second and looking at the tape again, it was never going to get there.
It was never going to get there.
Never going to get there. But at the time, I thought, da 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 da.
I know.
It was just like, you fucking beauty.
Oh, it's the only. This preparation has been the only interesting preparation.
It has been interesting. Yeah, she's been a touch vulnerable. She's had some bad quirks. She's got off the steel a bit.
What about the fact she doesn't have a mile and a half in her CV? She does not have a 2400 metre win.
Didn't she win the Queensland Oaks over 2400?
It was 2200 because run at Doomben.
Oh. Well, I think she'd have no
Are you
problems.
saying that as far as comparison to Kingston Town?
Well, I'm just saying that like she's a middle distance stayer. What's she doing not having a 2400 metre run?
So are you Kingston Town ahead of Winks?
Oh, I didn't see Kingston Town live. I listened to him on the radio.
I did. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And like you said, the 2400 metres, the 3200 cups. Maybe he is still my number one. And I always keep thinking she's a better horse, but then I think, is she? Like, maybe if she was in a fight with Sunline, she wouldn't get past Sunline.
I don't know. It's also impossible to reconcile the winks that we see with the winks with the Magic Man on board that's getting towed up by gust of wind.
Yeah.
The only way you can do comparisons from different eras is, did you dominate your era more than that other horse? So you can't actually put them against each other, but did they dominate more? She has, so that's why.
Yeah, I guess so. Dave, our favourite correspondent. Hey fellas, while I never back favourites, I was watching the races from Canterbury and a short price favourite, Gresham, played up in the barriers, threw Blake Shin out the back of the barriers. More horses should do that. It turned him on for the next day, didn't it? Blake had to pass the medical and the horse was vetted. Both passed with flying colours and the horse was put back in the barriers. I can imagine 99% of punters who were on him would have loved to be able to cancel their tickets before they jumped.
I disagree with that. I'd say 100% of punters wanted to get off.
He was put in a great spot by Shin, but, well, not really. You needed to be on the rails, but anyway. But did nothing when the pressure went on. Punters would feel they did their money cold. I had an epiphany. Now, I haven't given a lot of thought to it, so there may be enough holes to drive a truck through it. Owners want their horse to start, which is fair enough. They have a different agenda than what punters do. Why couldn't they declare it a starter for owners, but order all bets on it cancelled? Treat it as a scratching for punters and a starter for connections. Even when a horse is re-shod behind the barriers, I doubt punters would object to it being scratched from a punting point of view. Where you draw the line in the sand would need to be worked out. I realise deductions would apply, but winners would get over getting a little less. To do your money before a race starts leaves a nasty taste in your mouth. Won't happen, but just food for thought. It seems that it's always punters who get to bend over every time. Well, what's going to happen when that...
Dave's quite right there, and he's quite right because, and one of the sickening things about being on course is I backed Gresham, which I still don't know how I did, and that happened, and that Flindell, he goes, listen, punters, now Blake Shin, thank goodness, is all right, which thank goodness that is all right. I don't want to say I don't care. It's all sweet tie. I like Blake. I'll even like you. Care about you. And the other good news is punters, and you're thinking, oh, Gresham's going to be scratched. Gresham's okay, it's going to start. And you go, really, that's the good news?
It was for me, because I didn't want the 50% being taken out of my win divvy.
And then I suppose there's that side too. There's the double-sided argument.
See?
And that's why we can't really scratch Gresham or just race it for the owners, because if it does win, every bloke is going to blow up who's got the ticket on it.
Yeah, and what about, well, I gave it none, and I wanted it in because I didn't want to take the reductions. So.
What about a general rule of racing then, that once you leave the birdcage, you are a starter?
I like it.
Just nice and simple.
Nice and simple. Yeah. If you play up in the things, you're a starter. If you play out and you're ruled unfit, you're a starter. If you miss the start, oh, Huey, I put my leg at the back.
So if you jump the gun at the Olympics and you're disqualified,
Yeah.
there's no late scratching, there's no deduction. It's just like
you're out.
you had, you know, you didn't participate in the race, but you had your chance.
Yeah. So you parade, you leave the bird cage, you are now live betting. I think
because all the other things are too fiddly. They're
very
way too
fiddly. And like if Gresham does all that,
there's lots of grey. You know what I mean? That way it's just black and white, isn't it?
With Gresham, you're thinking, oh my God, it's having a vet check. It's like you're having a bet now because you actually have to have it to start, because if it's scratched, you're going to lose your money.
Yeah.
And then if you're on the other horse, you're going, hope this Gresham scratch because there'll be no deduction.
Yeah.
Good theory, Glenn. Dave also went on to say, on another rant, there is something that seems to have crept into racing that is starting to make my skin crawl just a little. Well, I'd say my skin crawl more than a little. It wouldn't, he goes on to say it would be a lot if it wasn't for the mute button on the remote. The thing I'm talking about is the interviewing of jockeys and trainers after the race. They thank everyone right down to the cleaning lady. Information that I don't need and don't want to listen to. I know that the snowball that's rolling down the hill will be hard to stop. Jockeys and trainers are obligated. Who wants to be the first to say it's all about me? Didn't I ride, train it great? No one else could have done it better. They're scared of losing the ride/horse. At least it would be honest and have come from the heart, like Craig's heart, for example. It would be genuine emotion. What they do now makes me want to puke. They're as phony as a $3 bill. Not religious, so I won't thank God. So all I will say is thank Christ for the remote.
It's quite right. Huey Bowman wins on, it's just so fantastic for him and so fantastic. But you've got to understand, Huey's family, they're all multis back in heaps of land. He's always going to be wealthy. And here he is, he steers this beautiful champion around. He gets paid $90,200 for the ride, plus if there's a sling, which we don't know about. That's his official wages. You get $187 a ride, he gets 5%, that's $90,000. And then you've got to listen to him thank everybody and do it. It's just, for your average battling bloke out there, shut the fuck up. Next thing he was about to, he was a half length off thanking his accountant. Like, it makes you sick. I agree with you so much. I don't want to listen to him. I just want to back a winner, go the correct way and get on with the next race in my life.
Well, see, we're all about whatever you're saying needs to be giving us information that maybe we can use, and that isn't part of it. That's just emotional bullshit.
But sports enthusiasts, anybody that's watching a sporting event, they want some considered analysis. They don't want to listen to fucking Steve Smith thank everybody as well after the cricket. It's like, just, they want someone to say, this is what happened and this is why it happened.
Well, you know, like the world's gone, you know, so PC with all that shit, but there is room for the bloody, the loony who bucks the trend to be successful.
This is this show.
That's his
show.
Well,
I was more talking like, you know, the sportsman, like, I don't know.
Curious?
Like, yeah, like Curious or McEnroe or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you can,
Curious is,
if you've got the talent, buck the trend and have success.
The best I've ever seen. Yeah. That Matty Johns, apparently, he's gone overseas, he's gone to climb Everest or something like, but he said that 4 weeks ago when young Nick walked off at the tournament on his very popular show, he's very popular with his John, and he's so talented, that it was one of the most disgusting things he'd ever seen, right? That's what he...
Oh, how ridiculous.
That's what he said, right? And then Nick Curious just tweeted, yeah, I heard you like doing things with all your mates. Because going back to when that poor Sheila was banged by 20 blokes. And
what a great call.
What a great call. I mean, how funny is Nick Curious? And what an outstanding
I know a lot of stories about Matty Johns
going,
that I
that's
can't
the most disgusting thing. But yet in his history, we have...
I can't believe he had the temerity to say that.
We got evidence of him being on a current affair, crying with his wife, oh, we all banged this Sheila, but I'm sure she liked it. There was 20 of us. And then Nick Curious goes, yeah, I heard he likes doing things with his mates. I mean, it's so fucking cool.
That is good too, isn't it?
He's an absolute legend, Curious.
Yeah, he says some stupid stuff, but all young fellas do.
He's just so... It's like, right in the beginning, they all hated Leighton. I loved Leighton right from the get-go.
I loved Leighton from day one.
Like,
but he's a bit too fucking PC now.
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
Yeah. He's got older. But, you know, let's get Leighton on the show. Let's talk about the fact, oh, Leighton, you're just like, you know, you're all Aussie, but you do live in Bermuda for 20 years to not pay any tax.
Yeah,
how's that going for you? Are you as Aussie as us?
Yeah, it's
no, you know, same with Pat Cash.
Oh, fucking patriotism.
It's all a fucking myth. The only thing that's important in life is correct weight. Green light. And fucking in excess, not getting run down by the 901 chance.
Ben writes, hi, just wanted to say thank you for a great show, tips and fantastic form analysis from all three of you. Such a great dynamic you all share. Although I'm a small player, the 22 is such great value, I think of it as a moral, a must-have, and my wins have become more frequent and profitable.
Well, that's
Keep
great
up the
news.
great work. Thanks, Ben.
Great news, Ben. That's what the show's all about. Whether you buy our stuff or don't, whatever. I mean, it's all about winning.
Back on Winks, David wrote in, D Diamond wrote in and said that he'd heard people outside of racing already saying she was disappointing due to the margin.
I thought she was brave. She ran a fast time the last year.
But do you think that that's the perception, the public perception? That she struggled in?
She triple negative hard in the run and Humidor PR'd, cut through the middle. Blake was so focused, pulled off the rail, got the slide through and still couldn't run it down. She's just a horse.
Yeah, that's correct analysis. I'm saying, is the general public going, oh, I thought she was better than that?
Because the general public is wombats in racing.
I got
a bit of both at a barbie yesterday. I got a bit of both at a barbie yesterday, and they didn't understand suck run. So,
no, they don't. But surely they understand it when they watch the Tour de France.
Yeah, we're all
Not many people know what's going on in the Tour de France. They think, why is this a team sport? People don't get
but they get the cycling events where the guy is into the wind and
the Olympics. We become geniuses in most sports. As you can see when they're PRing and trailing up.
Obvious better analysis at the Olympics.
And that's what we're after.
Well, you know, honestly, guys, that's what. So Channel 7, you had the gig on Saturday, and you needed to inform the racing public, the general public, about what that race was about.
And I'm sick of everybody telling me I look like fucking the bloke interviewing too. Do you think I look like Bruce McAvaney?
A little.
Email me in. Do you think I look like Bruce McAvaney or not? At least I don't say, oh, she changes people's lives.
What's the bloke, the male model from Mudgee? Who's that? The guy with the nickname male model from Mudgee. He's on Channel 9, he was on Wild Water Sports, he had the blue eyes. Male model from Mudgee. Oh, somebody email in, will they? Or he thought.
Yeah. What do you say?
Well, I saw more put you in that sort of bracket.
Oh, there you go. Now I'm like him. That's who I look like. Male model from Moree.
Yeah. Well, finally, I won't get to read out your lengthy email, Aaron. But you did say, in regards to question about Gordo's punting with price range and stats, I'm much like Gordo. Attempt to identify lightly raced, highly progressive types that are in the even money to 3 to 1 price range.
Yep.
So thanks for that, Aaron.
Really great rant this week, guys. We've got the Melbourne Cup in 8 days, haven't we?
More importantly, when's our Christmas party? I need a party, mate.
All you want to do is drink, and you drink every day for lunch, every day for night. Your life is just a roller coaster of punting and drinking.
I know. But I'm back up fine the next day.
You're a freak. You're a freak.
I get home, do the form.
All right, so Victoria Derby this week, Glenn. I noticed that Main Stage is favourite. Ahead of the horse that ran second to the filly on Saturday. What's its name? It beat Main Stage at Caulfield.
Cliff's Edge?
Cliff's Edge, yeah. Cliff's Edge. Cliff's Edge looks pretty good to me because it's Darren Weir and it's had the 2 runs at the 2000. Yeah. They're going to 2,500.
Then the filly ran past it like it was straight past it.
Yeah, the best, like in a gun run, Aloysia.
But it was a filly. It just ran past it like, she looks immoral in the Oaks, but I don't know. I'm looking for something hidden there in the Derby. Maybe
What?
Sully.
Well, Sully's $9, like 4th pick.
Oh, okay. I like back in Trent Pursuit, and I like back in Murray Baker horses in derbies and young.
Well, hasn't he got Main Stage as well?
Yeah, he does.
Pursuit?
Oh, does he? Or was that Baker?
No, that's Pursuit and Young. So you got Main Stage, Cliff's Edge, Sully, and Ace High. Ace High is 3rd pick.
Ty? Is it Ty?
It will be.
What are we doing? Are we doing a Melbourne Cup thing or not?
What do you mean a Melbourne Cup? What, drinks?
No.
Fuck, give us something like that.
We normally do a Melbourne Cup show, don't we?
Yeah, because we'll have to do a preview show for
the Tuesday, and then we'll include a few.
So the rant will morph into a preview show or something like that.
This is next Monday, is it?
Yeah. That's the Melbourne. What do you think in the Cup, Glenn?
Haven't got a clue. I haven't even started any work, and I don't know any of the horses' names.
Well, obviously the Marmello's hard in the market for H. Bowman.
Al Mandan's hard in the market, and so is
Mandan's, yeah.
But obviously we'll be looking for something from out wide because we always do.
I'm only Al Mandan, that's it.
Moral from God. Send him 33.
And the Darley is this Saturday with Viridine as favourite.
Yeah. Sydney horses have underperformed this year a bit, guys.
Massively.
A little bit. But it's been a different setup this year.
We'll have a look at a few of the Melbourne races for the Friday rant. That'll be the Darley, the Derby, and early thoughts on the Cup, just to keep everyone up to date with how to use their punting dollar best.
So on Friday we'll do the Group 1s in Melbourne as well. Yeah, is that the go?
More work for us. We just love it here on the rant. We love it. We love
all right,
it.
so we might
need to keep you all out there winning, so you can all keep paying.
We might need it. We might need a guest. All right, so Gordon and I will be back for a preview of the very tiny Canterbury card on Wednesday tomorrow. It'll be our special Halloween edition, so might need to do it early.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have Halloween ready, do you? The kids. Oh,
I tell you what, we'll be ready early too, because we've only got to do the form on about 4.5 horses, don't we?
And
Canterbury preview tomorrow with Gordon, myself.
I'll be doing the mail from Wednesday.
Gold subscribers will be
loving it.
They'll be getting Canterbury from me and from you, Glenn, and you'll be returning on Friday with a preview of our first a return to Rose Hill. Rose Hill is 6 Saturdays in a row, starting this Saturday.
That's a lot of Saturdays.
Thank God. Get ready to fill up.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.